in Providence, Rhode Island, at a hotel. My neighbor called and said, well, we're flooding here, and the water is in our homes and up to my bed.
The flood was a hard time. I'd never been expelled from my home before.
All the stuff we love, we can't go home after all these years to a house that's like that. We don't know how to do that. We can't do that alone. And it took me not very long, and I'm real proud of myself for this, to say, Kelly. I said, Kelly, our house is flooded. It makes me want to cry. And he said, don't worry, I'll be there tomorrow. And he was. Drying drywall, getting the rugs out immediately, then the fans came in, walls came down. He did everything he needed to do to make sure there wasn't going to be mold, and within 3 days, I guess, everything was out of the house and moved to storage. The drywalls were down and we were looking at this devastation. There was opportunity.
He used light shafts. He opened up walls. He found ways to bring light in that we wouldn't have thought of.
We weren't ready to buy a lot of furniture, so it was lighting, it was mirrors, it was angles, and it was respecting all the things we loved.
I like to see the backyard. He enlarged the view of it by putting in mirrors.
I'm inside looking out, I'm outside looking in, and I'm always seeing the garden, which is what makes me feel at home here. As I'm walking through, throwing things and everything's ugly, he's already bringing light and color into my imagination and getting me excited. So these are some of the colors that he had that we picked. So then he said, we're going to put them in the hall to show you a bigger swatch of it. And Murray walked in and said,
I'll have all of those. I'll have what I'm having.
The bedrooms, there are places where Shayna had grown and we had marked her height, and in Sam's room where we had marked his height. So those little pieces were beautifully, lovingly kept sacred by Miguel putting a little piece of tape, and then he pulled it off, and there it was with those years and those heights. The difference between how we approached the flood and our neighbors was they had resources. They had plenty of resources, but they did not have Kelly.
My biggest fear was dealing with the insurance company. Kelly handled it all. He was here every time the adjuster was here. They ended up treating each other like colleagues and brothers. 98.5% of what we submitted was accepted and paid for in full by the National Flood Insurance Program.
Walking back in the day that it was ours once again and the furniture was back, to me it felt like home. The magic that we had talked about, all the colors that we had picked were alive. I have paper still from the 70s with all the gorgeous new things and energy of 2015.